Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today I'm going to be making a video about something I meant to make a video about weeks ago, a Black Mage AoE rotation. The information from this guide comes from multiple sources, including a Black Mage from my free company who first introduced this rotation to me. Since then, I've spent some time getting used to it, and even though I may not be a Black Mage master, I can tell you this AoE rotation does a lot of damage. And I've been letting up-and-coming Black Mages on my stream know about it, and now I'm here making a video about it. Now, the idea behind this rotation is it allows you to perform extremely high burst on large packs of enemies, as well as sustained AoE damage on large packs of enemies, which makes it especially potent for speedrunning dungeons like Brayflock's hard mode, or even doing big pulls in raids such as turn 4 of the Binding Coil of Bahamut. Let's break down each step of this rotation so we can understand what makes it so potent. So first, here's the rotation just typed out without any explanation. We start with a Fire 3, before immediately going into casting 3 Fire 2s. Follow that up with a hard casting a Flare, then you'll want to hit Convert, Swift Cast, Flare, Transpose, and then this is the tricky part, wait for your MP to tick back up once. As soon as it does, count to 2, Flare, Fire 2, Flare, repeat. Now I know without any context, that seems kind of weird, so let's go into it a little bit more in depth. So we start this rotation with the Fire 3 to set up the 3 Astral Fire stacks. Once these stacks are on, you want to expend most of your MP pool using those Fire 2s before you cast Flare. You never want to cast Flare while you're just sitting at full MP, especially not for this rotation. Once you've casted those 3 Fire 2s, you won't have much MP left, so now is when you're going to want to hard cast Flare. And in case you don't know, hard cast means you just let it go all the way. You don't use Swift Cast, you don't use any sort of spell speed buff or anything like that. Just hard cast it and let the long cast time go. This will bring your MP down to 0. Now, in order to perform some extremely high burst damage, we hit Convert to get some of our MP back, and then we Swift Cast plus Flare again. The amount of damage this deals, especially with Foe's Requiem up, is immense. So immense, in fact, that you're probably going to pull aggro if you aren't too careful. Before doing this double Flare, I highly recommend popping Quelling Strikes, or you may wind up dead on the ground. Here's an example of this rotation without Quelling Strikes. And here is an example with Quelling Strikes. Now keep in mind, if Convert isn't up, obviously you're not going to be able to do this double Flare, so just move on to the next step that I'm going to explain right here. Now once you've used up your second Flare, or your first Flare if you didn't have Convert, you'll be a sitting duck with no MP, so hit your Transpose. Now here is the tricky part of the rotation. Your goal here is to try and cast Flare at a point in time where, as it's finishing its cast, Umbral Ice will tick once more, giving you about 1100 to 1200 MP despite the fact that you just casted Flare. Doing this endlessly allows you to continue to AoE without much downtime. So, what you'll want to do is wait for your MP to tick back up once after you hit Transpose. As soon as you have some MP, you're going to want to count to 2. I personally do it out loud just to make sure it works, probably because I'm not as experienced at it. So yeah, count to 2 and then start casting Flare. This should allow you to get the desired result of having MP after the Flare. Then simply Fire 2 once in order to drain your MP pool a bit before casting another Flare and repeating this Transpose trick until all the enemies are dead. Of course, if you want some bonus damage, feel free to pop Raging Strikes at the start of the rotation. I like to pop it just after my Fire 3 at the start. A few things to note about this rotation. First, it's AoE only. Never do this kind of rotation during primarily single target boss fights. Even if 1 or 2 ads spawn, it needs to be a single target rotation unless you're deliberately AoEing a lot of mobs. 2. Don't waste any time casting Thunder at all here. It's not worth it. And 3, which is sort of a point that takes off of point number 1, this rotation works best when there are 4 or more enemies present. Smaller groups of 1 to 3 may be good for practice, but this is mostly effective on really large groups of enemies. The more enemies, the better it gets. Go ahead and give it some practice and let me know how it works for you in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos, and be sure to check out the other videos on my channel. I'm actually going to play a bit of me doing this rotation so you can see what it'll look like in an optimal situation right here. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.